Hello. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Mason Pell. I've recently begun researching the topic of Native people's representation in sports as mascots. Since I know none of you are going to pay attention to what I say, I've solicited the help of an actual Native American to help me describe to you what I'm actually trying to say. Chief Calmwater, thank you for joining me.
No problem, my brother. I'm happy to talk about my people anytime. There are a lot of things that need to be corrected in this world, one of which is racism in sports. I feel like this conversation can bring a lot to light on the issue.
Okay, so we're going to be doing a point-counterpoint type format. We are going to be going over some articles that we both have read and debate the use of tribal names as names for team mascots and whether they should be used in the future. Alright, first article. Is the Fighting Sioux name offensive? NCAA says yes. Sioux Tribe says no. Okay, so if the tribe says it's not offensive, then it's not offensive, right?
Well, what if one person is offended by the mascot? Does not that one person have the right to voice their disagreement?
But you can't please everybody.
Well, then why choose that mascot in the first place? I mean, just because one person is the only person to say that they don't agree with it doesn't mean that everybody else in the entire tribe is fine with it.
But the article states that in 1969, the Sioux Nation gave the University of North Dakota permission to use the Fighting Sioux nickname.
Well, times have changed. In 1969, the United States was crawling with hippies. Now the only place you can find a hippie is in Ithaca.
But the University of North Dakota wants to honor the Sioux tribe. I don't see how that can be interpreted as racist.
Authority is implied when white people choose Native Americans as their mascot. I don't see how that isn't racist.
Okay, you got me. Some Native American mascots can be racist, but a lot of them are trying to honor great warriors. Don't you want to be known and honored as a great warrior?
My tribe consisted of hunters and gatherers. We were a peaceful people.
Weren't your hunters also warriors? I mean, how did you defend your tribe, right?
Before the white men came, we had no enemies on our land. We even traded with nearby tribes. In fact, some tribes had females as their leaders. You don't find a female squam as a mascot anywhere. No, all the mascots are men.
So now we aren't only racist, but we're sexist as well. You know, good debate. Let's move on to our next topic. NCAA Native American mascot controversy. So, Chief, what do you have to say about this one?
I agree with it. Before we move on, let me give you a little background on this article. Florida State Seminoles. You know them. Everybody knows them. Yeah, great tradition. They win. But they also have a Native American mascot. Now, the NCAA won't make them change their mascot name basically because they win, and thus that makes money for the NCAA. But a lesser team, such as Miami of Ohio, they were made to change their mascot simply because they weren't as big a program and didn't make as much money for the NCAA. Tell me that ain't bad.
Well, Chief, I think it's pretty simple. If one college has to change their mascot because it's racist, every college that has an offensive mascot needs to change it.
Mason, truer words have never been said.
I'm really glad we can agree on this one.
Well, it's not hard to see that it's a broken system. The NCAA wants to come off looking culturally acceptable, yet they won't sanction a team that makes them money. Doesn't make sense to me. Things need to change.
Well, Chief, there's a difference between the Florida State Seminoles and the Central Michigan Chippewas. Florida State has backing from the Seminole Nation. In fact, when the NCAA tried to sanction them, the Seminole Nation fought back, and actually, Florida State was granted a reprieve. But still, there are some Native American tribal mascots that are used that don't have the nation's backing, like the Utah Utes and the Illinois Fighting Illini.
Well, while we're on the topic, Mason, why don't you name off all the Native American mascots and sporting teams that you know?
Let's see. Cleveland Indians, Central Michigan Chippewas, Atlanta Braves, Washington Redskins, Cincinnati Reds? I don't think they're Native American though. Utah Utes, Illinois Fighting Illini, Kansas City Chiefs, Golden State Warriors, Chicago Blackhawks. The list goes on and on, Chief. Wait, Chief, don't some Native American schools have tribal nicknames or use the Indian warrior mascots?
Sure, but the difference there is that actual Native Americans made a conscious decision to honor their ancestors by choosing that mascot.
Well, why can't a predominantly white school honor a Native American? I mean, just because they're white doesn't mean that they disrespect Native culture.
Yes, but it needs to be done in a respectable way. Let's take this to the next article. Redskins, Sambos, and Whites. Racism in sports mascots. Tell me, Mason, why can't a team like, say, New York be called the New York Sambos?
Whoa, Chief. You're taking a little too far here.
But that's just it. I mean, take a look at the Washington Redskins. That's a slap in the face to Native Americans. I mean, it suggests cultural difference just because of skin tone. And it's none other than our nation's capital. Real classy.
Okay, I see your point, Chief. But, I mean, the Washington Redskins have been around forever. And when they made the mascot name, times were different. There would be an uproar now if they were made to change their name. Not to mention the money that they would be losing from sales.
Tell me, Mason, what year did the Washington Redskins come into existence?
I think what you want to know is when the team actually started using the nickname Redskins. That was 1932. Before that, they were the Braves. Yet another racial nickname.
1932, huh? So you're telling me in 80 years, nobody within the Redskins organization has realized the offensiveness of the team name and tried to change it? That just blows my mind. I mean, do you even know what the term Redskin really means?
Sure. White people like to classify things. It's no secret. Native American skin was dark, but not quite black, so we started calling them red.
Let's take this to the next article. Controversies over Indian names and mascots in sports.
You know, Chief, all these titles seem to be saying the same thing.
Yeah, you think these journalists could be a little more creative with their titles, wouldn't you?
Yeah. This article actually states that since 1969, over 600 schools have changed their native nicknames. So, looks like the good old US of A is actually doing some work.
Yes, indeed. But please, don't change the subject. I was just getting to the good part of my argument. Okay, Redskin. The term seems harmless enough. But that's until you realize that the term was created back when Indians had bounties on their head. The only way to know if you killed the Indian in question was to bring back a bloodied scalp. So, tell me, Mr. College Education, how does that honor my people? You see, my people don't need to be honored by a sports mascot. If you truly want to honor Native Americans, then teach people of our triumphs and our struggles, and teach them of our nobleness as a people.
Chief, you're right. I guess all this time I just thought that the people who spoke out against it were wacko activists who just wanted to argue. Now, I actually kind of want to help. What a terrible idea for a project.
No, I don't want to be the Indian anymore when we play Cowboys and Indians. I want you to be the Indian.